Nappa, being the Saiyan brute he is, immediately rushes the strongest opponent on the battlefield. The captain drops Dende, turning around and using both arms to block a strike from Nappa. Everyone, aside from Goku and Yamcha, is surprised that Nappa had increased so much in strength, with Ginyu especially unable to understand how such a thing was possible. Though the villains aren't given much time to ponder this, since Birder and Jace are knocked out pretty easily, and Ginyu, well, he's torn apart, almost literally. Nappa had charged the captain using a brutal strike to blow off Ginyu's arm, something Tien isn't exactly happy to see. Both Goku and Yamcha tell Nappa to chill out, but the Saiyan tells them that this guy is an even worse monster than he is.
Kakarot, this guy steals the bodies of people stronger than him. He's the most dishonorable warrior out there, and he'll get what's coming to him.
Nappa pointed right at the ground Ginyu was hovering over, causing it to explode. The captain managed to just barely survive this attack, but instead of trying to run or use his body swap, he starts laughing maniacally. Without using a senzu or any other healing substance, Ginyu's body begins to regenerate. The others look to Dende, who's crying in shame, but nobody judges him for making the wish.
Well, what are you going to do now, Nappa? Come on, I'm sure that Saiyan brain can come up with something that doesn't involve punching.
Ginyu was cut off by a giant explosion produced by the Saiyan brute. When reforming, the captain was subdued and tied up by the Saiyan trio, something he wasn't quite expecting.
What is this? How could you possibly be that strong? And how can I break through these ropes?
Heh, it's simple. You've been used to stealing all that power your whole life, Ginyu. I've imbued those ropes with my ki, so you just sit tight until we defeat Frieza.
With that, the two earthly Saiyans give senzus to the others, aside from Vegeta and Tien, since one was still a villain, and they only had enough for the others. Nappa wants to finish off the other Force members, but Goku stops him, and since Vegeta can hardly move, he also never offs them. However, they do have another problem to address, the fact that Frieza is heading towards their location, and Porunga is waiting to make their final wish. Well, obviously they want to wish Chaozu and Launch back, but if they can't deal with Frieza, then it'd be useless to do so. Yamcha had tried to gain control of his wrathful power and was somewhat successful, but still didn't fully understand it. The trio were all in the 100k range, so maybe Porunga could power them up enough to defeat Frieza? But the other Saiyans weren't fond of that idea. Yamcha thought he could wish to fully control his wrathful state, but when wishing for it, the dragon said it was beyond his power. Finally, Piccolo speaks up, bringing up an idea the group didn't exactly enjoy, but it would work.
Dende, ask Porunga to teleport every civilian back to Earth. Then ask Earth's dragon to bring everyone back to full power. We'll take care of things here.
The group accepts these two wishes, since quite frankly, they all want to fight Frieza. Yamcha and Piccolo want to unlock their new powers, Goku and Nappa just want to fight the strong guy, and Vegeta, well, he wants his revenge. The humans, on the other hand, all just kind of want to support from the sidelines. Once Dende and the Namekians teleport away, Frieza arrives, though it's livid when the dragon disappears.
What? Where did that creature go? Where are the Dragon Balls? Oh, I've got something for you, Frieza, but it isn't the Dragon Balls.
Nappa throws a Bomber DX towards the Emperor, who easily tanks the blast, something that strikes fear into the brute. Yamcha is about to step up to the plate, but Piccolo stops him, asking to go first.
Are you sure? I can tell you're nowhere near as strong as that guy. Yeah, I'm sure. If everything goes right, I'll be able to beat him without issue.
Yamcha hesitantly allows the Namekian to fight Frieza, who goes on to decimate the Slugman. Piccolo is basically Vegeta during the Tournament of Power, trying to unlock this Super Namekian form whilst being beaten by his opponent. Unfortunately, his plan doesn't work, but he can tell it's there, and more prominent than ever. Yamcha, not keen on seeing an ally being so badly beaten, jumps in, flying in and kicking the tyrant away. Unfortunately, he also doesn't stand a chance against Frieza, but does put up a much better fight than his green ally. During the scuffle, Vegeta manages to escape and fly off to Frieza's spaceship and sit in the healing chamber. He cackles, anticipating the Zenkai he'll get as he senses the fight occurring a few miles away. While the Desert Bandit is pretty beaten up, nothing is broken and he's still able to move freely. Since Frieza is leagues stronger than even the group combined, Yamcha figures he can use Wrathful without too much consequence, since if he does manage to defeat the Iceling, then he'll be too tired to attack anyone else, and if not, well, we know how that goes. The bandit's eyes turn a fierce yellow, whilst a golden greenish aura surrounds his body. The power made Yamcha's ki feel heavy, and his body bulked up slightly, as if his power were overflowing, though both Goku and Nappa had been instrumental in allowing him to partially control this form. Kaioken had a similar effect on Goku, whilst Nappa knew what transforming into an Ozaru felt like, and could relate to Yamcha's mind going blank. Right now, the form was still unstable, only granting him a 5 times boost or so, but it was enough. He could feel it. Right now, Yamcha was stronger than Frieza, and he wouldn't waste this chance. The tyrant is interested in whatever power this is, thinking it was possible his fears of the Super Saiyan had come to fruition, something confirmed in his mind as Yamcha punched him across the battlefield. That punch actually hurt, and not only that, but the Saiyan followed up with a slicing Wolf-Fang fist, slashing right through Frieza's armor and cutting deep into his chest. Okay, that's it. The tyrant would have to resort to his second form, maybe even third, or at least he would if Yamcha didn't keep blitzing him. Without fail, the bandit repeatedly appeared behind, in front of, or nearby the Emperor to deliver another painful attack, finishing the 20-hit combo with a large, sparking Kamehameha. The beam bathes Frieza in a brilliant yellow light, nearly finishing him off then and there, but he's able to just barely cling to life. The others expect Yamcha to fly in and finish him off, but the bandit seems to be having issues of his own. His aura turns a darker, more sickly green, and he begins to grunt in pain from the pure pressure of his own ki. Nappa can tell he's losing control and yells out to remember their training. Yamcha is still in there, fighting to resist the urge to just yell out and attack everything in sight. But he needs to get rid of this ki, this intense, heavy ki tearing his body apart. What did Nappa say on the ship? He needed to relieve the pressure somehow, channel it somewhere. Yamcha looked at Frieza, who was in the middle of transforming. Almost instinctively, the bandit opened his mouth, shooting a powerful green blast right at the tyrant. This does help Yamcha gain control of his now lessened power, but does nothing to Frieza, who launches several hundred death beams that pierce right through the bandit. He had gone straight into his third form, and was taking no chances with the Saiyan mutant. In total, he had launched thousands of beams at the Saiyan, who fell to the earth, basically gone already. Goku and Nappa tried to catch him, but beams flew directly at them as well. Frieza began his assault on the other Z-Fighters now, completely running through the entire roster and decimating them without issue. Out of everyone here, aside from Yamcha, Gohan does the best once his rage boost kicks in, ragdolling Frieza around the battlefield and once again making Nappa think his plan to create an army of those would be awesome. However, when his rage subsides, the tyrant quickly regains the advantage, pummeling Gohan, continuing to do so once he notices the others clearly angered by this. The Saiyan hybrid is tortured until he's on the brink, and when Goku and Yamcha try to get up, Frieza threatens to off Gohan if they try anything. Wanting to have some fun, and thinking he was now far too strong to be opposed, Frieza orders Nappa to execute his newfound compatriots, promising him a spot in the Force if he complies. The brute looks to his beaten and tired allies, knowing he could likely deal enough damage to finish them off. But they were already here, already so close to beating this tyrant and getting revenge. Yet, he was too powerful. Nappa remembered serving under King Vegeta when he wanted to oppose the tyrant, but once the power imbalance became apparent, he and the rest of the Saiyans simply bowed down and became servants. Perhaps that's where they had gone wrong, settling for becoming the servants and not the rulers, too scared to oppose those more powerful than them. Seeing the way these earthly Saiyans, despite their lack of power, managed to always best him and Vegeta, it awoke something deep within Nappa. He raised a hand high into the sky, charging up a large white orb in his hand.
You know, it sucks that it took me so long to realize this, Frieza.
What are you on about, Nappa? Finish these monkeys unless you want this boy to perish.
No, Frieza, it's you that'll perish.
Nappa threw the orb into the sky, yelling out burst and mix. At first, Frieza was confused as to what he was doing, but once he realized what had happened, it was too late. The Saiyan child beneath him, who still had his tail intact, began to change. He tried to fire a death beam directly through his heart, but Goku and Yamcha rammed right into the tyrant, knocking him over long enough to allow the transformation to occur. Frieza, in his anger, attempted to blow the two Saiyans away, completely ignoring the giant monkey about to step on him. This doesn't kill Frieza, but does injure him enough to see the Great Ape as an actual threat. While the two fight with renewed vigor, the Z-Fighters get some space between the action and themselves, attempting to formulate a plan to win this fight. Piccolo could try using the special beam cannon, but it would likely do too little damage at this state. Meanwhile, Goku could use the Genki Dama, but Gohan was starting to lose, and it'd take too long to charge up. However, that's right around the time Dende and the others wish for Shenron to restore the group's power. The Saiyans feel reinvigorated. Not just that, they all feel massively more powerful. In fact, Yamcha thinks he might actually be able to win against Frieza at this point. Gohan's power had spiked as well, something that forced the tyrant to go into his final form. Once this happens, the situation becomes dire, and Goku is told to start charging up that spirit bomb right away. Meters away, Frieza blitzes the giant monkey in front of him, flying behind it and tearing its tail straight off. The others try to fly in and distract the tyrant, but he grabs Gohan by the hair as he deforms. You monkeys really had me there. Unfortunately, I too had a trick up my sleeve. I suppose I should thank you for showing the value of a good secret. Now, allow me to teach you something as well. The value of consequences. Frieza stuck a hand out towards Gohan, and just like that, the boy was gone. Everyone stopped in their tracks. Aside from the cackling of the Emperor, it was silent. The others thought that with their increased power, they could stop Frieza for sure, but they were all too late. Yamcha was cursing himself for not trying to use Wrathful right away, whilst Nappa cursed himself for allowing such a strong Saiyan child to be offed. By all means, that kid was way stronger than he was and way more powerful than Vegeta at that age. Goku, well, let's just say the Genki Dama wouldn't be completed. And Piccolo, oh, he felt the worst. Unlike any of the Saiyans, he didn't get a power-up and was futilely trying to fight anyway. Yet, he knew he should be able to unlock that power deep within him. Only now, after the one person Piccolo wanted to protect had been offed, could he feel the power rising up within his body. All within seconds of each other, Piccolo, Goku, and Yamcha experienced an unparalleled amount of power. Yamcha's eyes turned yellow and his ki skyrocketed, but now he was in control, channeling all that power and pressure straight towards Frieza. Piccolo had increased in size and power, and though he seemed calm, he too had one thing on his mind. And as for Goku, he was ready to end Frieza, far angrier than anyone there, the rage of Super Saiyan only exacerbating this. The trio raced forward, all three of them landing blow after blow on the Emperor, who had very little time to react. Goku and Yamcha, despite unlocking incredible new power, was still weaker than the Emperor individually. But Piccolo? He was on a whole new level, far surpassing Frieza in every conceivable way. The Emperor tries to power up to 100%, but neither of the fighters would allow such a thing. Piccolo stepped back, charging up a special beam cannon, whilst Yamcha used a slicing Wolfang fist to throw Frieza up into the air, allowing Goku to hit him with a Kamehameha, something that definitely injured but didn't finish him. However, just as Frieza was getting ready to use his ultimate attack, a beam struck him right in the jewel atop his head, before drilling straight through it, ending the tyrant once and for all. Yamcha immediately fell out of his wrathful state, the pressure of the full transformation taking too much of a toll on his body. Goku and Piccolo stayed in their powered-up states, the Saiyan too angry to calm down, and Namekian feeling like he should stay in this state for just a little longer. By this point, Vegeta returned, now having power level around 1 million, which was nothing compared to the 50 million Goku was sporting. The prince was nothing but angered when spotting the new transformations of the Z fighters, but when trying to speak up about it, Goku asked if he was really willing to risk his life over some stupid pride. Yeah, Vegeta wasn't going to push it. For now. Simply deciding to fly off into space, he orders Nappa to follow him, but the brute refuses.
Don't tell me you've become a traitor to your own race as well, Nappa. Our race is gone, Vegeta. We were complacent animals, not even realizing Frieza had taken advantage of all that ego your father had, that we had. These guys are onto something. Besides, someone needs to keep an eye on him. Nappa pointed towards Ginyu, Jace, and Burter, all tied up and wide-eyed at the events that had occurred. Have it your way then. I'll show you just what a real Saiyan can do.
With that, the prince left, allowing the others to organize themselves and prepare travel back to Earth. The others didn't think Nappa seriously wanted to bring Ginyu back to Earth, but he said an immortal training partner would be invaluable. Besides, he had some issues to work through with the captain. Whilst Ginyu does try to escape, once Nappa brings up the fact that Cold would likely execute him for allowing Frieza's demise, and then subsequently stealing the wish, the Horned Warrior decides to play along. For now. With that, the group makes their way towards Earth, but that's where we'll be leaving things off for right now. If you enjoyed this story about a more Earthling-like Saiyan, why don't you check out a story all about Raditz having some Namekian roots? But even if you don't, thank you for getting to this part of the video. You guys have a good day or night wherever you are. That's it for now. Bye-bye.